Today we're making these super cute crochet black cat coasters, and they are so quick and easy, just 15 to 30 minutes depending on which version you go for. These are perfect for Halloween or fall decor, but can be customized in any color for all the cat lovers out there. And the best part, no sewing required. Just grab your hook, some cotton yarn, and you're ready to go. For these coasters, I'm using a weight 4 cotton yarn with a 5mm hook. And this is a very inexpensive yarn that I got at my local superstore. It's very stiff, and typically it's not one that I would use, but it's ideal for a project like this. You want that kind of stiffness. Now, one thing to keep in mind, it can be pretty hard on your joints. So if you have any kind of wrist pain or arthritis issues, I would recommend that you maybe go to a cotton blend instead. Acrylic, of course, can be used, but it is going to result in a softer fabric. So you may want to apply some spray starch to the back of it to help stiffen it up. A quick little tip here, if you are working with dark yarn, I really love this neck light. It came in so handy while I was making this. Last year I did a video about gift giving for crocheters, and my viewers recommended this to me, and I absolutely love it. So thank you so much. I'm afraid the black is going to be hard to see on camera, so I'm going to use an orange color instead. To make our coaster, we're going to be working in a spiral. We're not completing the rounds, we're just continuing around and around. So I highly recommend that you grab yourself a stitch marker. For this spiral, we're starting the center with 6 single crochets. So you can either chain 4 and join with a slip stitch to form your ring, or you can do the magic ring. Wrap the yarn around your fingers. Go through the center, pull the loop through, and create a chain to secure. So to begin round 1, add 6 single crochets to your ring. Tighten the center. Add your stitch marker either into the last stitch you made or the first stitch you made, whatever your preference is. For some reason, I just like to put it in the last one that I made. For round 2, we're going to do an increase into every stitch around. An increase means we're doing 2 single crochets into the same stitch. My last stitch, 2 more. And at the end of this round, you should have 12 stitches. To create a spiral, we're slowly increasing by 6 with every round. So to do that, we're going to do 1 regular single crochet and then an increase into the second stitch. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. 1 single, and then an increase. 2 singles into the same stitch. 1 and 2. Continue all the way around. Okay, and after this round, you should have 18 stitches. For this next round, we're going to increase our stitches up to 24. To do that, we're going to do 2 regular single crochets, 1 in each stitch, and then do an increase. So 1, 2, increase. 2 singles into the same stitch. 1, 2, increase. Continue this all the way around. Now for this round, we're going to go up to 30 stitches. So for this round, we're doing 3 single crochets, 1 in each stitch, and then an increase. Now if you notice here, we're starting to get a hexagon shape. We're getting the points. A great way to avoid this is to change the order in which you do your increases. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to reverse the order. So instead of starting with my 3 individual singles, I'm going to do my increase first. So I'm going into the first stitch with my increase. And now I'm doing those 3 singles. So increase, 3 singles. 1, 2, 3. And continue this all the way around. So at this stage, double check that you have 30 stitches, because now we're going to go up to 36. So for that, that's going to be 4 single crochets with an increase. And I'm going to go back to the normal order to help keep making this rounder. So 4 single crochets. And increase. One, 2, 3, 4, and increase. Continue this all the way around. And for this next round, we're going to go up to 42 stitches. To do that, we need to do 5 single crochets with an increase. I'm going to reverse the order that I do that and start with my increases. So I'm going to do an increase, and then 5 single crochets, 3, 4, 5, 1 in each stitch, and continue all the way around. Increase, 5 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. Now, if you're just wanting to do the cat face, this is where I would stop at 42 stitches around. One interesting thing I'm noticing is that with this different yarn, it's coming up a little bit smaller than my black ones did. My goal for the cat head was 4 inches in diameter, and it's only coming up to 3.5. So if you have the same kind of issue, what you can do is just add 1 more round of single crochets, and that should take you up to the size that you need. If it's a really drastic change, just keep doing increase rounds until you get to that 4-inch diameter. And it's just that same sequence. We finished with 5 single crochets with an increase. The next round, like I'm going to show you here in just a moment, will be 6 single crochets with an increase. You just keep doing that until you reach the diameter size that you want. So if you're just working on the cat face and you've reached your 4-inch diameter, skip to the ear section. But if you're continuing on to make the body version, we're going to do 1 more increase. So we finished with 5 single crochets with an increase. Now we're going to do 6 single crochets with an increase. And to just help soften the points on this, I'm going to start with my increase. So I'm going to do an increase first, and then 6 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. Increase, 6 single crochets. And this will take me to 48 stitches when I come to the end. So one thing that's really nice about the cotton is because it's slightly stiffer, you can actually manipulate it into that round shape. So after the 48 stitches, you should have a decent sized body shape. Your goal is 5 inches in diameter, and with the black yarn that I used for the sample, that was the case, but for some reason this yarn is working up smaller even though it's the same weight. So I'm just going to stick with the plan here, but if you want, you can always add a round of single crochets. That will help give it a little bit more size. Only 1 round of single crochets though, because otherwise if you keep doing that, it's going to start cupping in on you, and you don't want to do that. So just 1 round of single crochets, if you just need it to be a little bit bigger, will really go a long way. The only difference between these 2 samples is that I did 1 extra round of increases on the bigger one that looks more like a body. This one had 7 rounds, ending with 42 stitches, and then this one had 8 rounds, ending with 48 stitches. For both versions, we're going to do the ears in the same way. So coming back to your stitch marker and the very last stitch that you made, that single crochet is going to be included in your first ear. This single crochet is the beginning of your ear sequence. So next will be a half double crochet in the next stitch. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do a grouping. We're going to do a double crochet, a treble crochet into the same stitch, a chain 1, and now we're going to do that in the reverse order in the same stitch, a treble, double, and now a half double crochet in the next stitch. Almost there. We're completing the ear with 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Next, we're going to do a slip stitch into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're ready for our next ear. Single crochet in the next stitch, half double in the next stitch, and now the biggie, a double crochet into the next stitch, a treble into that same stitch, chain 1, and continuing in the same stitch, a treble, double, half double in the next stitch, and a single in the next stitch. And to complete it, a slip stitch into the following stitch. To secure this, you can put your end through the loop. I kind of think it looks a little bit bulky that way, so I'm just going to pull it through like that. Take it towards the back. And now just weave in however you like best. I'll go ahead and put a little tie there since I didn't do it on the side. And then I'm just going to weave in my ends. To make the tail super easy, we're going to attach it about 10 stitches down from the base of the ear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Give or take, you just want to get to the lower corner of the body. And I'm going to fasten on with a slip knot. Next, you want to make a chain that stretches up to about the point of the ear. So that would be about 12 to 15. I went with 15. We're going to create kind of a curl with our stitches here. Now you can work into your chains like you normally would, but I find that the hole of that chain stretches quite wide and it can be kind of ugly. So what I like to do for something like this is I prefer to work into the back parts of the stitch, these little back bumps. And you would count those bumps just like you would the chain. So there's bump 1, bump 2. So when I say work into the second chain from the hook, let's just say work in the second bump from the hook. 1, 2. And within that bump, we're going to do a single crochet. And 3 half double crochets all into that same bump. 1, 2, and 3. For the rest of the chains, we're just doing a regular single crochet. And if you're finding that to be a little bit too difficult, then just go back to the front of it. Doesn't matter. It was really at the tip of the tail there that was really an issue. When you get back to the base, in the next stitch, add a slip stitch to anchor your tail. Snip your yarn. And then in the back, just go ahead and secure it. Looking at it, might have been better to go 1 stitch down, but we've gone too far now, so we're going to leave it like that. And then the final thing to do is just to tack it into place. This is crazy. Both of these are weight 4 yarns and I used a 5mm hook. But look at the difference in sizes. Both of these were done with 8 rounds and there's a whole inch difference. So just keep that in mind as you're working on your project. Your goal is to just keep doing increases until you reach the dimensions that you want. Don't get too stuck into the amount of rounds that I used. If you're using a smaller yarn and hook, it's going to take more rounds to get to those dimensions. And the same goes for if you're using a thicker yarn with a bigger hook, it will take less rounds to get to those dimensions. Well, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, a like is always appreciated. And if you like that Black Cat coffee cozy that I showed in the beginning of the video, you can find a link to that tutorial here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.